And then we have Felipe Kast. Felipe was Minister of Planning in the government of Chile. In that role, he promoted the Compass Commission for learning what the problems are in Chile and working towards evidence-based solutions. He's also here on a very specific window. He's running the campaign of his party in this election that's coming up in a few days. And we are incredibly lucky, and he's incredibly generous to have given us this time, come all the way, abandoning his role as one of the leaders of the campaign for his party right now in Chile. So thank you, Felipe, for coming. Felipe, it can't always be just a matter of a billionaire. There are other constraints in using evidence in government. You've been in government for a while, and you must know some of the frustrations of trying to use evidence. So, and I know that you also know some of the levers to make it work. We'll come back to that. Why don't we start with the frustrations?
Well, first, thank you for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of JPL from the very beginning, with Esther, with Pancho Gallegos, Ryan Cooper. We launched the office in Latin America. And for me, actually, it was very shocking because I graduated from Harvard, and then I was working then 6 months in JPL in Chile, and then I became Minister of Social Development. And I had tried, so I was an experiment myself because I was trying to bring some of this insight into the reality. And it wasn't easy at all, because instead of getting a world that wanted to get the best out of each social program, a very rational world, I found a very ideological world where the most popular idea was the only thing that really matters and not the most effective one. And so basically what we did, we were trying to get into this sophisticated idea of getting impact evaluation, but when I arrived there, I found that actually we have no idea how many social programs we had running. So the first question was, okay, who knows how many programs we have? And we found 450 after 6 months of work. Then the second question was, okay, someone is monitoring this thing, or do we know how much we spend on each of them? Do we know how much money we get into the field, how much is getting out along the way? So we basically had to start from much earlier, and the reality was slightly worse than what we expected. Which is funny is that we, in the impact evaluation side, we had something before. It is funny that we had something on impact evaluation, but we didn't have anything about monitoring and something like that. So instead of pushing the agenda with some of the guys from JPL in Chile as well, we started to talk what should be the role of JPL in Chile. And instead of just moving the agenda in the way that we will evaluate the 450 programs, we did something different, which I think is very interesting, which is we live in a very ideological world in Latin America, the left and the right. So we have many different views about the way we should run the government. And that basically keeps aside any rational discussion most of the time, because you bring your ideas from heaven down to the earth, and you think that you have all solved, So we are not very humble when you stick yourself to your ideology. So we're talking with you guys, we came with this idea that instead of having JPL working to evaluating all these programs, why don't we instead put together all the people that think differently about the world with different ideologies, and why don't we sit in the same table? Why don't we identify the biggest questions that we have for our society, and then we try to build or create these randomized experiments to solve this question. And that is basically what we try with Compass Commission, which is bringing all these smart guys from different political parties in the same table, bring JPL to basically be the neutral party on this table, and why don't we think very deeply about the biggest questions that we have in social policy. It was a very nice experience, but then you come with the next challenge, and you were asking about the constraints. And even if you have this commission, which we did, I think the commission was great, then the next question is how you make it work in reality, because you can come up with big ideas. And then I would like to share with you my view of how politicians work. Now, actually, I'm a politician, so I learned fast how they work.
You know well.
Yeah. And we basically we work in 3 dimensions. So first, we have a very simple world. We follow opportunities. So if you go to a politician and you offer an opportunity, he'll take it. Secondly, we are very worried about threats. So actually, we react more to threats than to opportunities, because if you make a mistake, it's much worse than getting 10 good news in the newspaper. So 1 bad news can kill you. So you really follow threats. And the third one, which is very interesting, is that we follow institutions. So we're very obedient to institutions. So I was elected last week as a congressman, and I already went last week to the Congress, and I realized that actually they think they are very smart, but they are really good at following instructions. So they follow opportunities, they're very worried about threats, and they follow institutions. So if you ask me what are the biggest constraints, is how you can put this idea of finding what is the best way to solve poverty into these 3 lines. And we have worked, I think, in JPAL and in general academia, in the idea with opportunities, but we haven't worked that much in the threat line and in the institutional line. The opportunity is a typical example of Mexico, that if you run your program and you have a nice RCT evaluation, your program will continue over time, so you will be kind of recognized as a serious politician. But I would love to have JPAL more close. If you move to the threat line, which I think is the most effective one, you have to think about Greenpeace. So Greenpeace, they move the agenda because they know that they are a threat for many governments. And they try to push the agenda, being activist, in a way, right? So you don't want Greenpeace knocking at your door with 100 people screaming to the politician, right? And I think actually you wrote a column with Ryan Cooper 1 week ago in Chile, which I think is along the lines I would expect from JPAL, to help us, the politicians who want to move the agenda in that direction. So you were pushing us, saying, you're talking about the slogans, you're talking about many beautiful words, but you don't really know whether your beautiful words are going to work or not. So we need JPAL, I think, more in the line of the activist. And the third one, which is very interesting, is the institutional framework. If we could be able to make this way of reasoning part of the process of budgeting, it will have a huge impact. So I hope that now I am starting as a congressman to bring some of these ideas, and maybe instead of having only the Compass Commission, which is great, then try to put some of the conclusions into the budgeting process every year, so that at the end of the day, it's not only nice words and be feeling that we are doing a good thing, but also bring the money where the best ideas are and where the best experiments are, so that we can fight injustice and we can make this world and this country, or my country, a better place. So that's basically it.
Thank you.